when you mix ipolo, ikawe, nekat, just know.
I don't even think that guy reads.
Hey guys, welcome to my mukbang vlog style. I don't know what to call it, but I think welcome actually. Just welcome guys. I'm a bit excited today. I am going to Chili Pepper. I've been meaning to do a Storytime mukbang style situation, but I wanted to do it with, initially I wanted to do it with a seafood boil, but baby, the admin of ordering these seafood boils, the proof of payment, they only deliver in 24 hours. I was just like, nah, giddy POP, giddy EFT, giddy ABCD, nah, not doing that. So I decided to go to Chili Pepper. Kyoreka se kambani, kyoreka se phahlo, kyoreka Kota, a private school, and then I think I'm gonna go home and do a sit down mukbang situation because I don't want to eat in the car. So guys, I finally am back home. It's actually, it's been a while, but we are about to just, you know, it's just another episode of Men Are Trash. But before I start, actually, NB to everyone who gets irritated of hearing or watching people eat while they talk, get off and go watch my other videos when I'm not doing a mukbang, because guys, in mukbang is literally people eating. But before we start, let me just show you the Kota and how it looks. She's cute. She is cute. Oh, so it has a chicken fillet, lettuce, chips. It's called a new school, so it's not your like normal everyday Kota with the Russian and all your processed meats. And anyone who doesn't know what a Kota is, or sikambani or spasho, it's basically a quarter of a loaf of bread and you know, some chips. Most of the time it's usually processed meats, but today we're having a very fancy one. It's actually really good. That's what we're having. Salivating, baby. So guys, while I'm eating this Kota, I'm going to be telling you about how I literally, like, I caught, like, guys, I've never ever in my life caught a guy cheating on me red-handed. I have never gone through that, and literally I felt so accomplished. Like, I felt like my investigating skills were on fire. So what happened is that I was seeing this guy before my husband and I started seeing each other. So my husband and I were still seeing each other, but like we were just like seeing each other. Do you understand? So I was also seeing other people. I didn't care, to be honest. Like, I was just seeing people. So I dated this guy who had so many red flags, and I chose, not even chose to, I don't know, I think I was not smart enough to like catch on, but red flags means but you need to go. Do you understand? So I dated this guy who was obviously a bit older than me, and guys, I don't even know where to start. So how I met this guy is that I don't know, I don't remember how I met him. Oh, I think I met him, I was going to buy meat at like a chisanyama for my mom or something like that. I think my mom was pregnant with my sister. Yes. And you know, he was like, oh hi, how are you? Like, it was in the hood, so I'm just like, oh hi, you know, he's asking me how are you, I'm fine. And then it ends up that I think we went to the same primary school or something like that, so we started speaking about that. Okay, fine. And so I also told him where I went in high school. He's like, oh, my little brother's actually in that school. And I was just like, oh no, what a coincidence or whatever, you know. And then we started talking from there. So I started seeing this guy, but the weird thing is that I wasn't attracted to him like that. So every time like he tried kissing me or like, you know, touching me, I'd be weird. I'd be like, I always had an excuse. Basically, I always had an excuse. Like, guys, I had the craziest excuses, and probably this guy thought I was crazy. But anyway, first red flag with this guy, and it was nice, and I was actually enjoying, it's something that I was enjoying his company more than anything. I was enjoying his company, and we started seeing each other. we didn't really like, he was just like, oh no, we must make it official, no, we must see each other. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm not a fucking clown. I know what niggas do. So it's just like, oh, whatever, yeah, sure, whatever. And then, so what happened is that this guy one day came to pick me up at like a friend's house. And then my friend came out and he's like, oh, this person is picking you up. And I'm like, yeah, do you know him? And she's like, I'll tell you when you get home. And I'm like, so in the car ride, I'm like paranoid, like, what the fuck? Why is my friend telling me that he knows this person? And I actually asked him, I'm like, do you know that girl? He's like, yeah, I know her, nothing serious. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's literally saying nothing serious. So I'm like, okay, you might know. Oh no, he said, I know her from church. He was a big church goer. And I was like, okay, great, you know her from church, whatever. So when I got to the fast forward to when I get to the house, I call him like, girl, let's say her name is P, and I'm like, P, what the hell, how do you know this guy? She's like, let me tell you something. Your guy used to date my older sister and he put her through hell. Do you know he has 3 kids by 3 different baby mamas? And I'm like, what the fuck? Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, stay away from that guy is trouble. I'm like, what do you mean he's trouble? He's like, that guy likes girls. And I'm like, okay, whatever, you understand? So then I didn't see him the next day, maybe like a few days after, because we didn't see each other that often. So when I asked him, you said you only know P from church and that's it, do you understand? And he's like, yeah, but she's telling me that you dated the sister, so what's up with that? I feel like, no, it was not that serious. I'm like, it was not that serious. She just told me that you're engaged to the sister. And you have 3 kids by 3 different women. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, she's lying, basically. And she's like, yeah, but I was engaged to the sister, but the sister had mental problems or some, like he said something like that, but sister was given a mental problem, so they had to separate. Nah. And that's when I was just like, okay, this is strange. Someone who dated someone who's like my senior, and now you had 3 baby mamas that you're not disclosing, basically. And then okay, time goes on. I'm still seeing him, but obviously now I'm just like, this guy's weird. And I'm still like giving him issues like, you can't touch me, I'm saving myself for marriage or some shit like that. And then what happens? And then now he's like being really serious. Now like he wants to be in a proper relationship. And I'm just like, I can't do this. And I'm like, before we get into a proper relationship, because I actually wanted to find out like, what's the jig with this guy? I'm like, before we get into a proper relationship, my nigga, you need to tell me the truth about you having 3 baby mamas and whatever. And he's like, yeah, sure, actually I do have 3 baby mamas by 3, I do have 3 kids by 3 different women. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, no, the first one I had him in high school, the second one I had him in varsity, and the third one, I'm not even sure that it's my baby. You know, nigga, when a nigga says that, when a guy says he's not sure that it's not his baby, just know, like, urongo. He's like, and he's 8 months, and I'm like, oh, you just had a baby 8 months ago, and you're trying to get into relationships. And he's like, no, we were never together. Oh well, you guys were never together. Okay, so you have an 8-month baby basically, and you guys were never together. That doesn't make sense. So at that point, I'm like, okay, no, it's fine. Let me give this person a benefit of the doubt. So fine, I give him the benefit of the doubt. And this guy was like a scientist or something like that. Like he did some science shit. But I know he was still like studying. He was furthering his studies. So another red flag that I picked up, this other day he invited me to his church. He's like, please come to my church. Nah. You must come, I'll pick you up, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. When we get to the church, we're sitting outside, like we're parking, and he's like, so what's gonna happen is that I'm like a senior or something. He had to do like he was something at the church, and he can't sit with the person he's not married to, so we need to sit in different seats. And I was like, strange. But anyway, he's saying that he's a senior. I don't know the protocol of his church. It doesn't really matter. Like, I'm also not trying to be mamfundis at that point. Fine. We're sitting at church, and luckily my mom went to that church, but my mom was not there that day. Fine. We're at church. And it's not like he was hiding me or anything. Like, I went to the car, we drove off, everything was fine. Okay, that passes. And then I think the following weekend, and bear in mind, this is like, I haven't been seeing this guy for a long time. Like, this is literally like, we are 2 months or even like a month and a half in. Now he's like, I think he was writing his like exams because he was studying via UNISA. What did he say? Oh, we had plans that Saturday. But he had to write a test first. So he was like, we're gonna go and you're gonna wait for me write a test. And I think I was doing something, I was studying or something. And he was like, you can study in the car, and then when we're done, we can get along with our, what do you call them? Our plans for the day. I get to Nyani. We go to UNISA. He leaves his phone. He leaves his phone, and he then no, actually I'm lying. Before the UNISA situation, a random person calls me on my phone and is like, hi, are you seeing this guy? And I'm like, yeah, not really, but yeah, whatever. We are, like, I'm seeing him. And she's like, oh, can you please stay away from him because he's my person. And I was like, well, girl, it's weird because this guy brings me around his family, guys. Bear in mind, every family gathering I was there. Not every family gathering in say, but if there was something, I was there. And I used to go into his house. Like, I literally went into his house, and his parents would see me and they would greet me. Like, it was normal. It was the thing, but the family knows me, and everyone, like practically everyone in his family knew me. So for me, another person called me, but I'm with this person and we're in a serious relationship, didn't make sense to me. I was just like, crazy, no. So when I asked him, he's like to me, so why did you confirm to this person that's Siajola? And I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't you just say, no, didn't you say while we're in a relationship? And he's like, no, I was just saying, you know, there's no need for you to brag in a relationship if you're not insecure about yourself. And I was just like, insecure, sir? What are you talking about? Fine, that passes. Then the second week, we're going to, it's this UNISA situation now. Now we're going to UNISA, is going to write. We had plans on the Saturday. When we get to UNISA, he leaves his phone in the car and he's like, oh, I don't need my phone because we're not allowed to have our phones when we're writing and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, such a trustworthy guy. He is leaving his phone in the car. Fine. Again, I'm by myself. At that point, guys, I'm that person. If I'm in your car and you leave me in your car, I'm going to look for stuff. So fine, he leaves his phone and I'm like, should I touch this phone? Should I go through this phone? I'm like contemplating with myself, should I go through this phone? I try opening his phone, it has a lock. I'm trying to find the password, because now, you know, when you go through something and it doesn't allow you, now you're like eager, like, yeah, actually I want to go through this phone. Fine, I call my friend, I'm like, so what is this guy's kids' names? And she gives me all the names. I try the first one. Did it not open that phone? Phone. Now I'm going through his pictures. Guys, amanyala. Like, I was not ready for that shit. Like, literally not ready for this shit. I mean, in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe this guy's addicted to porn. I'm looking at the videos. Amanyala. Amanyala, literally. For someone who goes to church and claims to be like a senior or some shit at church, it was very weird for me. Fine, it's hella weird. I'm going through, guys, the videos, the productions I will Pornhub, guys. And I'm just like, okay, I don't see people's faces. And I'm like, okay, no, that's fine. I'm seeing pictures of people's privates. I'm like, oh, this is weird. This is weird. This is weird. Then a specific video, which was literally like, it had the same setting. Now I see his face and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like shaking now. Like, what the hell? What did I just see? You know, like, guys, when you're in a situation where you don't know whether to be mad or like angry, I'm literally like laughing, like, what the hell? I go into his WhatsApp messages and I look at the profile picture, and there's this woman he basically is in a relationship with, but it seemed very sexual. Their relationship seemed very sexual. So this person is like, hey, they're sending each other, they're recording themselves. Kore, this guy, all the time he was not with me, he was busy making movies, basically. Guys, this guy was proper producing. Wait, I need to bite into my food. And guys, can you believe I had time? His exams were like I think an hour or something like, 2 hours, something like that, but it was a long exam. And this is like 20 minutes into me waiting for him, and I'm already discovering like what this guy was up to, basically. Fine. Hey, now I'm going through his WhatsApp. This guy is in sexual relations with multiple women. But there's that one person that stuck out, like this one lady that stuck out. And I started checking the numbers on my phone, but this lady who called me, could she be here? And actually she was the person that he was doing movies with, basically. So this confirms to me this person is basically, I don't know whether cheating or with this person. The lady that called me to tell me, but yeah, she's in a relationship with this person, and we are piga, basically. I let it go. I'm actually like laughing at myself, like, you really thought this guy was not seeing this person? And I'm like, you little one.
You little one.
You need to open your eyes. I'm going through this guy's phone. This guy snacks. He literally dated every person. Like, he dated the receptionist at his job. He dated a girl he was working with inside the lab that he worked in. He dated this person, dated someone else from church. Like, he was busy, literally busy. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'm laughing at myself, like, what the hell? I am literally like, I'm sitting there like, are people this busy? Like, are you that busy? Fine. He comes back. Now I'm acting like nothing is happening. He comes back. So when he comes back, I think I couldn't hold myself, guys. And it's not that I couldn't hold myself because I was hurt. It was just like funny, like, what the fuck, bruh? Like, what's going on? So I'm like, you know what, nah, we're about to go on a date. Let me go eat his money, then I will ask him when he comes back from the date. Fine, we go to the date, but I'm sitting there looking at him like, this clown, he really thinks, you know, when you're sitting there, you know something about someone and he's trying to act cool. And the funny thing is that when he got to the car, it's like, when he left the car, he's like, if my phone rings, you should answer it. So, you know, that's a guy playing you and thinking and making you feel like he's not doing anything wrong. You shouldn't be worried. Whatever. After I come back from the date, I'm like, bruh, what the hell is going on? Like, your phone is fucking busy. It's a proper, like, Pornhub production on your phone. Your phone is fucking Sondeza, bruh. What the hell is going on? And he's like, no, it's because you don't allow. No, listen. He's like, and I'm like, the person who called me is on your phone and you guys are busy doing a manyala. And then he's like, no, the thing is that you are very awkward and weird about the situation, so I thought maybe I should take that energy and use it on someone else. I was just like, are you mad? Are you mad in your head? Is that what you're gonna tell me? Fine. He drops me off and I'm like, you know what, I think I'm done with this shit because I don't want to get HIV. Basically, literally, that's what I told him. I was like, I don't want to get HIV, bro. Like, no. I'm young. I'm popping, I have niggas that want me, you can't be the one at all. And then I met with his little cousin somewhere. Like he had a little cousin, and this girl comes to me and she's like, are you still seeing that guy? And I'm like, no, we're not. She's like, oh, thank God, that guy is trouble. Literally, the cousin told me that he is trouble. At this point, I'm like, what the fuck was I into? The minute I told him that I don't want him anymore, that's when he started going crazy, basically. So this guy had the nerve, he had the audacity, isibindi, to go to my mom and go ask my mom to please ask me to date him, basically. And I'm like, I'm telling my mom, like, my mom, please leave him alone. Now he started like having very stalkerish tendencies, if that makes sense. Like he would stalk me, going to drop off my little sister or something like that, and he would be like, I wanted to see you, but you were not around, and you said you're not around, but I could see you dropping off your little sister. And I was like, bruh, I don't want you. And he told me that you're bad news, and she was right. And then I'm like, also your cousin told me that when you have 3 kids, I was just like giving it to him, like, your cousin told me that you're bad news, so leave me the F alone. He kind of like was leaving me, but he would call me now and then, and I was just like, no bro, leave me alone. So now me and my husband were starting to see each other like serious, like we were proper dating now. And he would like call me and be like, I saw you're back with your boyfriend or whatever. I think he knew about him because I told him like I was seeing this guy, but he was just like, you know, he'd tell me like, I can see you getting off that white Mercedes Benz or some shit like that. I was like, good for you, thank you for looking out for me. I was just like, this guy is mad. Then he went back to my mom and he's like, oh, your daughter was cheating on me. All along, your daughter was cheating on me. And guys, to be honest, I was not trying to tell my mom that I dated a person who was a porn addict. I can't even say a porn addict. I don't know what the hell that guy was. I think he was a sex addict more than anything. So I was just like, hey ma, please leave this guy alone, leave him, like just leave him. And then so my mom is like, why don't you just take this guy, like why don't you date him, or why did he do to you? No, I'm not trying to tell my mom, but hey, this guy is a porn producer. And I'm just like, yo guys, I'm not gonna tell my mom what happened. And this guy's like pestering my mom at this point. And in my head I'm like, you guys, these guys that go to church are fucking dangerous. Like, what son of God, dangerous. Do you understand? So now this guy is literally like pestering my mom, like telling my mom some stories about I was cheating on him. Now my mom was looking at me like, you're a shady girl, what's going on in your life? You understand? And hey, this guy I was just like, leave me alone, sir, leave me alone. Fast forward, he left me. And then a few years later, I was at my house and I was talking to my aunt, and she's like, did you see your man got married? And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Who got married? And it's like, that guy. And I'm like, oh, he got married. And I'm like, to who? And then she showed me a picture of the person they got married to, and I'm like, oh, this is the lady that they were having. So I don't know who was a side chick then, but this is the lady that called me, basically. And I'm just like, guys, oh son of God, aye guys, but dangerous, guys. For me, a guy who loves church too much is a proper red flag. There's something that he's trying to hide. I'm sorry guys, I know some people will receive this wrong, but for me, a guy otandikawa too much, very dangerous species. Stay away from those guys. Nizokula, guys. For me, that's a red flag. But anyway, I don't know where that guy is or what he's doing now, but yeah, I've been papayed before. And actually, the funny thing is that in my papayerism, I was aware that I'm being a papay, but I was just like, yeah, whatever. Do you understand? I don't think I was And also because I was not seeing so many people, but I was also trying to have a proper relationship with someone else on the side, so it didn't really bother me. It was just like, oh, okay, this guy thinks I'm a bobai, but yeah, I'm not. But my final stroke was when I saw, but hey guys, this guy is a proper Sondeza producer. He was probably releasing content on that Sondeza and making money on the side, because woo, la phone. And guys, the funny thing is that this guy, the first red flag that I was meant to like read from the beginning was that he drove a Polo VW. When you mix a Polo, ikawe, nekat, just know those are the 3 red flags that you need to slice from. It's chai, baby girl. You are going to be played. You are going to be a Popeye in that situation. But hi guys, I didn't know that someone can be a Sondeza producer and a church. But anyway guys, I'm halfway through my food. I'm gonna finish it off. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And for me to you, bye guys, I love you.